I have a bit of crack for you. So last week I went to London to attend a meeting, and at this meeting, the majority of people were in capital markets and tech. And the topic of conversation it was about spiral dynamics. But in the later conversation, all the best conversations happen around the dinner table. The majority of the orientation of that conversation was actually around mysticism. And I don't know about you, but I don't normally put those three things in a sentence together: tech, capital markets, and mysticism. And honestly, I was really inspired, and I was also really struck because I thought, God almighty, consciousness herself is having her way. She's got all the way to Wall Street. She's rising like a water table, and she won't be stopped because she's permeating every nook and cranny of society. And I just loved these people because I thought, fair play to you for having the courage of coming together in this way and being open enough to really open up the conversation. And I'm not kidding, these people are serious professionals, and a majority managing partners or directors or CEOs or entrepreneurs or thought leaders, and seriously professionally excellent. And so I think that's one of the pieces that I appreciated the most. I was like, well done you for stepping forward as serious professionals and leaders, but into a space that is not normally given airtime, that's kind of shoved under the carpet. And they got me thinking, because I just thought, you know what? How many of us are in the spiritual closet? How many of us around the world are actually dying to have conversations about vibration, about energy, about spirituality, about frequency, and we're just hiding and not allowing ourselves to go there. And so I guess I wanted to just share this with you because it inspired me, firstly, to be honest. And then secondly, because I thought, wow, what if you're one of those people who's got the opportunity to step forward as the person who's willing to at least lead the conversation and at least open it up and, be a little bit more available to have that conversation. Because you never know who's in the seat next to you or the table across from you or walking down the corridor beside you who's also dying to have this conversation. And I think this is the piece, is that we are all wanting this world to change. We all want, it's a beautiful world already, but there are a lot of bombs dropping in our world, and we need to change this. We need to change this to love bombs. And I'm not saying that in a trite way. I'm saying that in a very serious way. This is the time for us to step forward and to take seriously the need for the collective, for those of us who are on this frequency, to actually take it seriously, to step forward as a collective, to help change the collective field of consciousness of humanity. And the only way we're going to do that, we do it first by embodying it, of course, ourselves, but then we must come together to create a kind of momentum, an equivalent momentum, in fact, a greater momentum than the kind of technology advances we're seeing with AI or the kind of market advances we're seeing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. We have to take consciousness as seriously as we take the material world. And so I know I'm on a bit of a rant, but I really believe this. And so I wanted to share it with you. If you wanted a permission slip, this is totally it. If you wanted an invitation, please take this as this invitation for you to really trust the calling of your inner being to open up a little bit more, because you don't know what kind of response you're getting, and maybe it won't be as tricky as you might expect. Maybe there's a Wall Street banker who's absolutely waiting for you. Maybe there's an artist who could not be more delighted to hear from you. Maybe there's a mom who's wanting to have that conversation with you, who's actually so far into the field and so far into the future that she's going to teach you many, many things. We don't know what the benefits are going to be, but they're going to be many. Sometimes it's nice to look at examples in history who have led the way in this respect. And Albert Einstein is really one of the greatest because, of course, as a scientist in his day, to suggest that there was a spirit behind all matter was absolutely outlandish, an outrageous statement. And yet that's exactly what he did. And so to me, he was one of the pioneers, and there have been many throughout time, throughout our history. But the difference with this moment, and for you and for me, is that there's a quickening happening. There's a momentum and there's a gathering happening. And so it's much easier for us now. And so this is kind of a clarion call for each of us. Now, if you feel resonant with these words, if you feel like, yes, I know, and I'm ready to step forward, then good for you, go for it. If you feel that you would love to be surrounded by others who are also doing this same thing, also stepping forward, consciously affecting the field of humanity, consciously working on the energetic dynamics of the field of humanity, starting with ourselves, of course, and our immediate communities, then your invitation is also here, if you feel resonant, for the Evolutionary Times Collective, which is exactly what I've just talked about. It's a group of leading edge professionals really making a difference in the world, very serious contributors in the world, but who are also having spiritual practices, not just personally, but also collectively. Also collectively, because sometimes it's easier. They say if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And so this is why we gather. And you, my friend, if you feel resonant, are most welcome to join us. Either way, with love, light, and clarity, much blessings your way.